welcome to Love and the Planets, and I'm Margaret Gray in Dublin.
And I'm Armand Diaz, also in Dublin.
Wow, we're here for, once in a while we get to be in the same place, and it's been wonderful, really, because we had a great workshop on compatibility and relationships in astrology yesterday with a great Irish audience, and maybe we'll do some more in other parts of the world as well, Armand. What do you think?
Right back here in Dublin sometime
Absolutely,
soon.
maybe in the spring. So, what's on the cards, or what's on the charts, I should say, in the sky for the planets this week in relationships?
Well, let's see. We get started with on Monday when Venus is going to quincunx Chiron, and I feel that is a bit of a bump in the road in its own way.
It is, and also it kind of coincides with Mars going back into Aquarius, of course. So we really have a little bit of a change in energy. So Monday might feel just a little bit kind of disruptive because there's these changes afoot. And I certainly think when Venus touches Chiron, we've said this before, sometimes it brings up a few old things to do with past relationships, unfinished issues, something to resolve. But I think Mars moving into Aquarius, it's that really kind of a little bit of a detached energy, so we might be able to really move forward, I think, with friendships, with groups, with colleagues. So I think there's a little bit more of a push forward.
There is in that area. I didn't know you said to go back to relationships. We have to remember that Venus is in the shadow of her retrograde already, so that anything that happens now is going to get redone over the course of the next few months, probably a couple of times. So, indeed, there could be some redoing of things.
Now, Venus is quite busy this week, isn't she? I mean, and she's one of the key planets we always look at in relationships. So we know that when she's busy, things are happening. And the big one is the opposition to Uranus. So there could be some changes. Now, it could be something new coming into our lives relationship-wise, couldn't it?
Could be a big surprise. If you're in a relationship, it could be a big surprise. If you're not in a relationship, it could be a big surprise. There could be changes. I think that there's also, it sort of echoes what we find on Monday with the Venus Chiron thing, is that sense of, well, what are we doing for a relationship on the one hand, and what are we doing for ourselves on the other? Because Venus Uranus can often signal a need for a little bit of freedom.
Yes, I think it does feel quite exciting though, doesn't it? Because we've had, as we said last week, we've had months of kind of feeling a little bit stagnant, a little bit stuck, and here we are, finally there's some movement. And certainly if you've got a lot of planets in fire signs or air signs, I think this is quite a welcome relief. Even though it might bring something different, something new, that also provides some excitement, much better than stagnation in relationships. So time to do maybe a little bit of spring cleaning.
Yeah, and if you're in the southern hemisphere, it's springtime, so that's perfect for you. But yeah, I think that there is, sometimes I think with relationship stuff, as long as something is happening, it's better than when there's absolutely nothing. And maybe, with all of the tensions over the summer and all the things that we went through, I think that there was still, because of the retrogrades, there was still a sense of stagnation. And yet, here Venus is going to go backwards too. So there is this kind of tentativeness. Even a big surprise may yield a few more surprises as we go along.
So do you think this would be a good week for somebody to ask somebody out, Armand, that maybe they've been thinking about before, or to maybe initiate new friendships, or what do you think?
Probably be not a bad idea. The moon is waxing out of the Virgo new moon on Sunday, so it is a time to sort of start new things. The only thing is that the retrograde might suggest that what gets off to a fast start might wind up slowing down. But hey, you could deal with that over time. It's better than not doing anything.
True. Now, towards the weekend, we go into a little bit of confusion, don't we, in terms of communication. So we might need to be a little careful that there aren't misunderstandings, particularly around Thursday, Friday, and certainly by Saturday, we need to just be careful. Communication might get a little more intense than we planned it to get.
Well, yeah. I mean, on Thursday you have Mercury opposite Neptune, and it's not even like you're lying or saying something deliberately untrue. It's just that sometimes your own fantasy starts to look real, and people can just sort of say too much. That's another thing that happens. In addition to sort of, sweetening things or souring things more than you really should, sometimes you say too much. Sometimes things leak out. And with Mercury trine Pluto on Saturday, if you say the wrong thing earlier in the week, you might have to, have a serious talk later on.
Okay, so just be a little careful. But, again, maybe, I think when Neptune is around, again, we're talking about maybe a little bit of romance. So, if you're going out on dates or something, or spending time even just, with people in your family that you're close to and so on, just maybe enjoy also some of that Neptunian creative energy as well. That's not putting a positive spin on it, but it's true as well.
And with Neptune, I guess we should just throw out our regular advice and say go for a walk on the beach.
Of course, and that's in fact where we're going to be heading shortly, aren't we?
That's where we're going for a walk on the beach today.
Bye bye. See you all next week.